This video is possibly the most autistic video I've ever made because it's two of my biggest hyperfixations combined into one big ball of hyperfixationness. The Lore of Hell, so like Hasbro Hufflepuff stuff, and Epithet Erased. What do you get when you mix them together? That's right, the 7 deadly sins as Epithet Erased characters. I'm insane. So the order we're going in is pride, wrath, gluttony, greed, lust, envy, and sloth. I will tell you which character it is and why I believe they represent that sin the best. Starting with pride is my boy Sylvie. I love Sylvie. He's such a twink. You know how I say some characters give off energy of being a small fluffy animal like a hamster or a ferret? That's what Sylvie is. His animal is literally a goat. Well, a sheep, goat, geep, or shoat. Neither of those sound right. Actually, I saw this post that someone made. I think it was on Reddit, but then they reposted it to Instagram that confirms that Sylvie's pronouns are they, he, and just... I'm so proud of the little scrunkly. So I'll be using they, he pronouns for Sylvie. Sylvie is very... He makes it known that he's a tiny psychologist. He makes it known that he's smart. He makes it known that he graduated high school at the age of 15. Which, I mean, good for him, dude. But that still doesn't change the fact that he's very prideful in himself. They're very, like, I want to say cocky, but that doesn't seem like the right word. They're, like, proud is the best word I can describe it. They're full of pride. This was one of the harder ones to do, but this next one was incredibly easy and it took me like 3 seconds. Wrath is represented by Zora. I'm just gonna let these clips roll.
Don't interrupt. And it just so happens I left some bullets suspended in these woods before this fight, so you might want to duck. Yeah!
Percy draws her blade and dances past the bullets, swinging her sword in wide arcs and smacking them away.
Ramsey's cuffed to her arm, so every time that she swings, he just flies back and forth and absorbs like half of the bullets. Ah, ow! Whoa! Oh, and oh, my face! My horrible, horrible face.
Not if you're dead! Do that! Because once the process has ended, I can't reverse it! So once I hit the ground, I can't float back up! And once some jackhole breaks my gun, it's broken forever!
Yeah. I have one last thing to say about this placement. Zora would not have missed that shot. That's all I'm saying. Gluttony is Bugsy. His whole epithet is that he eats, and then it turns that into a weapon. Which, it's not a bad epithet, but it's definitely like... Was Jello on acid when he came up with that? I almost went with Goro on this one, but we had more content of Bugsy, so it was easier for me to place, like, he's definitely gluttony. Plus, his epithet is, in and of itself, gluttonous. It encourages gluttony. Gluttony is overindulgence specifically for food. And that is exactly what his whole personality is, basically. I remember the first time that Bugsy's epithet was revealed, I was just... Like, you could make an Epithet Erased out of context video and add all of Bugsy's moments. You remember how I said gluttony is overindulgence in food? Well, greed is overindulgence with money and material goods. This one was difficult because I was torn between 2 characters. But I eventually came to the decision that the wolf is a better representation of greed than Arnold. Because Arnold isn't necessarily greedy, he's just looking for a way to save some bucks. Which, not really greed. But the whole thing with the wolf is that she tries to steal Phoenica's purse and then sell it, but she could just keep the money inside of it, but then she sells the purse, but then she doesn't get it, so it doesn't matter in the first place. And there's not a whole lot to talk about the wolf because she's only in the book for 1 chapter and you never hear from her again. She also would have been a good contender for Wrath, but I think Zora fit that better because she's a bounty hunter. Lust. For a split second, I almost considered putting Lori in this spot, but then I remembered, wait a minute, she's a minor, and that is not cool, so I chose Mara. And you might be thinking, well, what does Mara have to do with lust? Not a whole lot, but there's this scene from episode 1.
Oh, you've got my attention.
And also the non-canonical Halloween special. She gets very flustered by Indus when he tells her that she's pretty. And she also does, but also does not get Ramsey to draw that picture of her as a sea cucumber nestled in the pecs of Indus as a clownfish. No, my bad, it was a sea anemone. For Envy, I did have Giovanni, and I recorded a clip where I talked about it, but then I realized, wait a minute, the valet! That's his whole personality. He's jealous of Naaman because he's rich, has money, and he's got and I know rich and having money is the same thing, but shut up. He's constantly calling Naaman a lucky jerk. That is all I can say about the valet, because that is all he really says. It's not like I can do a deep character analysis into him. He's got a total of like 5 lines in the 1 chapter that he's in. Sloth. This one is kind of iffy, but Martin? And you might be thinking, of course he's Sloth. Why would he not be Sloth? Well, he's Sloth in the way that he doesn't take care of his daughters, but he's also not in the way that he constructs all these elaborate toys and play sets, and he's always hard at work on them trying to think of new stuff to create to put for sale in their shop. So he is, but he isn't. Lorelai almost could have been a contender, but she has basically the same deal as Martin. She's not lazy. She just doesn't like to do the work, but in her worlds, she will. It's weird. He's a bit dumb, but that doesn't necessarily make him lazy. He's not perfectly representative of Sloth like how some of the others are, but he's the closest one. That was a video. The Epithet Erased characters as the 7 deadly sins. I had a lot of fun, like, not researching, but like trying to match each character to which sin they would be. I was really having a trip with Envy though. That was freaking hard. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.